Bramborough back with some Grand Tactician Civil War. This is our Union campaign that we are running in the 1.07 beta. Okay, so in the last episode, we fought a pretty close battle in Northern Virginia here, and we're not out of the woods yet. There's more to be done here, and that's going to be the majority of this episode, I think. And it may turn out to work. It may turn out to be unmitigated disaster. Before we get to that, though, I just want to talk a little bit about this Navy thing I got going on over here. The only thing I've done off camera since the end of the last episode is I've got this, I already talked before about, I've got this closely spaced picket line going all the way across here so that their combat radii overlap. Therefore, it's impossible for an enemy waterborne army to get through here without encountering the combat radius of at least one of these little picket ships. Based on what has been observed in the last couple of campaigns on the rivers, that seemed to work. I don't know if it's going to work at sea or not. I don't know. It's possible that it might work and we never notice it. The camera's not going to be focused over here very often. There's no notification for it. All that would happen is that an army, we're looking at Missouri or Tennessee or something, whatever. A CSA army comes up in here, encounters. There's like a little animation of a cannon firing. I've seen that, but I don't think there's any actual damage done. If there is, it's so small, it's not noticeable. But we've managed to catch a few instances where an enemy army would turn around and go back up the river. I'm hoping that the same may occur here. Okay, so I set this up, and what I kind of didn't really think about or forgot is that, they like to do this sort of thing over here in the bay, too, in the Chesapeake and across the Potomac. And so, crossing over to the Eastern Shore, vice versa, crossing the Potomac somewhere down here and going up and besieging Fort Washington or going up the Baltic, that happens too. I read a lot of that, and I have had that happen in my campaigns before. So, I've created a few more of these little single gunboat picket fleets. And I'm going to bring them all down here and establish kind of a similar sort of thing from about here at Aquia Landing down the Potomac and kind of like this to forestall that kind of shenanigan. Now, what we have not observed is I could have one of these little fleets sitting right here, and I have not observed that a naval fleet will prevent an enemy army from crossing at a ferry or bridge. Which they should, but as far as I've seen, they typically do not. Unless in crossing at a ferry, if the enemy army happens to go into waterborne mode, right? You get that little wavy icon on it, and it's within the battle radius of a fleet. That might have an effect. But I've planted these things right on ferries before, and yeah. Well, we'll take what we can get. Kind of bigger picture argument though. This is kind of silly. I don't want anyone to kind of get the false idea that, hey, this is perfectly fine. This is the way it should be. No, it's dumb. I'm just trying to work within the limitations of the mechanics as they are in the game, and I've kind of gone off on tangents and talked a little bit about quite a few naval-related things that they need to take a look at in this game. Ideally, if we're trying to reflect something realistic, shouldn't need to do this. Where we've got this static, it's like building a trench line across the ocean, for crying out loud. It's kind of, what I think it should be is, we've got this, patrol mode, right? When a route is ordered, whether a single destination or chain of waypoints, fleet will patrol the route, continuously engaging enemy fleets and reinforcing. They'll move slower, but they have a bigger command range, allowing interception from longer distance. Okay, so as far as I've ever been able to see in this game, you put them in patrol mode, and it increases their combat, or their command radius. Wait a minute, what did that tooltip say? Yeah, command range increased. So the way I would read that is, pretend all these other ones weren't here. This fleet is sitting here, and it's got a command range, which would be even bigger in that mode, I guess. Well, you know what, I'd have to advance time. I don't want to do that. Ideally, something comes within the command range, and this fleet should beeline to it and engage it. I don't think that actually happens. Or if I don't know if that's just the mechanic isn't built that way, or if it's supposed to happen and doesn't. I don't know. But if it worked reliably that way, I would only need like 2 or 3 or 4 kind of patrol fleets up in here, and it should work just fine. I don't think it does. And this was the best that I could come up with to kind of force a way to ensure that when I'm focused somewhere else on the map, right? If I'm looking at Kentucky or Missouri or whatever, this is the only way I know to reliably get naval forces to at least get within battle radius. Okay. So I'm just kind of dealing with the mechanics as they are. I would like to see a lot of... I think we all would like to see a lot of different things done in this game. Myself included. But some of the naval stuff is... for me, anyway. I will also say this. This kind of thing where a strategy game doesn't get naval quite right, or even ballpark right, that is not a Grand Tactician only issue. Tons and tons and tons of games out there that are otherwise very good just have kind of dopey naval mechanics, in my opinion. Okay, enough about that. So, when we get these things up in readiness, they'll come down here and we'll make another little picket line here in the Potomac and the Chesapeake Bay. Right. So where we left off, the Confederates moved these two armies in such a way that I was able to engage them separately, and we did the first half of that here. Near Front Royal Bridge, the Shenandoah Army and actually got a siege situation, which prevented reinforcement from the Army of the Potomac, and we fought that battle. And we had a pretty good troop number advantage. We had about 16,000 troops to like 10.5 or 11,000. And despite that, that was a pretty darn tough battle. The first couple episodes, we fought a couple battles, and it was like, okay, well, I'm not sure I'm feeling it from 1.07. Oh boy, I felt it in that last episode. My guys were, Shenandoah Army happened to be entirely rifle armed. And B, they were in cover. It wasn't fantastic. They weren't in parapets or anything, but they were in railroad cover against Confederate brigades that were in the open, just right across from them. And the casualty exchange during much of that fight was pretty darn close to even. Now, it kind of ramped in our favor toward the end as we got our an extra division engaged. But, the day... Anyway, that's one of my primary early takeaways from 107 is under kind of equal or near equal conditions, the casualty ratio is just going to be a lot tighter than pre-107 in many cases. And the kind of extrapolation from that is you need to have a bigger army. Or at the very least, the relative troop count is more important than it was before. Folks who may have watched most of the last campaign will remember that over here in Missouri, I deliberately kept a smaller army over here and let the Union repeatedly attack it with sometimes up to a 2-to-1 troop count advantage. And was able to establish defensive situations where my significantly outnumbered army was able to deal them a very disproportionate number of casualties and basically hold the line in Missouri without committing too many troops to it. I am not at all confident that that kind of strategy would work in 1.07. Not the least bit. So coming back over here to Virginia, so we've taken care of the Army of the Shenandoah for now. We still have the Army of the Potomac to deal with. The Army of the Potomac, the Confederate Army of the Potomac, has 31,000 men. The Potomac, our Potomac Army, if I can get the tooltip to, we'll just do it this way. Our Potomac Army has 23,000 men, 23,500, right? So we're like 7,000 or 8,000 below. So moving this army to intercept and fight a battle with this army, I don't know how that's going to go. I just don't. Even if I manage to finagle a defensive situation. On the other hand, I got to do something. This army, look, it's kind of pointed right now with time frozen. It's kind of pointed down this way, but last we saw it was moving up this railroad toward Alexandria. Don't know if it's trying to go to Washington. It may be, but I think what it's trying to do is come up here and retake this Virginia city, or at the very least could. So I'm kind of in this situation where I don't really want to engage it, but I can't afford not to engage it. Now, right now, Patterson's Shenandoah Army, he's got 13,000 men as well. If I can combine these two, then we'll have a little bit of a troop count advantage. Not too much of one, something like 36 to 31. However, time is still paused, and I don't know if he is still going to be at this readiness level once we get time running coming out of that battle from the last episode. In other words, he may not be able to reinforce. We'll just have to see how it works out. Also, I'm not 100% sure that Army of the Shenandoah is going to retreat. I think they are. I just think they're not showing retreating because, again, time is frozen. So, for better or worse, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue moving the Potomac Army over here. Now, the Confederate Army is in defensive mode. We are in defensive mode. On initial contact, it'll be like we had over here, where we should get a siege. That siege will not be in our favor, but it might buy time for the Shenandoah army to come over, join, and then we get the troop count advantage, and then convert to a tactical battle as we did last time around. That's what I'm going to try to do, and it may backfire spectacularly. So, and I don't remember what the order was that I gave. It says order on the way, and I don't remember what that order is. I think I just told him to stop. Well, we'll just get him moving again. All right. Enough talking. Let's. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're in retreat mode. I think. Should be. Okay, so they're in rearguard action. Let's see if we can get the Shenandoah army moving over here. Okay, we've got that siege situation now, and okay, Army of the Shenandoah is kind of moving in a weird direction for an army that just got beat. What the hell? Is it trying to retreat to, I don't know where he's going. I do not know where he's going. Meanwhile, how is this looking here? Yeah, it's not looking great. We need to get, yeah, we need to get Patterson involved in this. Somebody got rehabilitated. Beatty. Right, Beatty is the Cav commander. And I think he just get defamed a couple days ago in the battle we just fought? He's already rehabilitated? Okay. Come on, Patterson. You can move faster. I should probably force march him. He didn't lose readiness following the battle. That's good. Okay, we need to actually get you into the siege. Before McDowell is broken. Well, I guess I have to give him the forced march again. There we go. Okay, now let's see what the siege situation is. Okay, it's still showing as a Confederate advantage. I'm not sure it's fully accounting for the weight of our added numbers yet. Let's just let this time. The point being, if it turns out that actually we are going to have a bit of advantage, I might let it just sit in a siege because it'll be less casualties that way. Or I might not. No. They have too much of a morale advantage. All these brigades are eager, and ours are confident. And that's because we're fighting in Virginia. Okay, so we need to convert this to a tactical battle. And I'm a little bit apprehensive about doing that. But I think we got a better chance at that than we do at letting this siege play out. So in we go. Well, okay. At the very least, it's giving us a defensive situation, and we have these flat spots here in the deployment zone, indicating that that's where the two armies' deployment zones butt up against each other. So there might be forces here pretty darn close to us. Yeah, we don't have too much of an advantage here. The Confederate number is an estimate from our intel. And if this is accurate, then we've got a pretty small advantage. And oh, by the way, we do have Dodge demoralized. I think this is that cav unit, probably. Which division is Dodge? Fifth. Yeah, that's just the cav. So it's not a huge deal. It's only 300 men, and I think I've kind of mentioned this before, but especially after the first couple battles of using them, as far as I'm concerned, now in 1.07 with the cav reform project, and before you get that project, the biggest a cav brigade can be is 500 men. I said this before, but I did try to use them in other ways. Now I'm just kind of confirmed in my perception that until that cav project is unlocked and you've just got 500 man, they're strictly scouts. That's it. I mean, even if they find an isolated battery, it can run in there and zap them before getting intercepted by something else. Even that's problematic. So heads up, you're not going to see me using cav tactically, or like combat wise. They're, until I get that reform and I get some decent sized brigades, they're just scouts. That's it. And possibly they do have the little cav nearby morale modifier that they can give. I can, you can use them for that too, right? Put them near some artillery so they feel better. I do not intend to do flanking movements and all that kind of malarkey with these little bitty cav units. We saw what happened with that. So we have the entire Shenandoah Army on the field and the entire Potomac Army. Okay. Well, here is the Confederate entry point. But they've got a big deployment zone, so they could be, well, you know what? Yeah, let's get these cores out away from the edge of the map. See what we're doing here. Where's that cav? Yeah. Let's just see what we got here for. Okay, they're unstable, 30%. However, fighting spirit is 66. So I think they might be able to improve up to a serviceable level of morale as long as we don't get them in trouble somehow. Well, let's just put them up here in deployment zone to see if they see anything. Okay, it doesn't look like we've got any Johnny Rebs over here stacked right up against the boundary. I don't think. Let's look over here. Okay. Alright, so they're not right up on the edge. It seems pretty likely that they're going to, at least initially, want to come right up the Manassas Sudley Road. It seems to be their most logical route. And I think we've already seen behaviorally from the AI that they're getting a little bit better at flanking movements. So that doesn't mean that they're just going to run straight into us. However, I'm kind of thinking right along this road here, the Warrenton Turnpike, there's a good bit of fence in here. We do have 27 engineering points. Just looking over here. Okay. And how these guys just came out of a previous battle. How are they doing for ammo? Okay, they have 60 rounds a man. Some of these are unstable though. Oh yeah, we've got a lot more morale problems in Patterson's army. Unstable. Unstable. Basically the brigades which routed in the last battle. Okay. Let's just double check these brigades. Yeah, McDowell's guys seem okay. They're confident. Okay, that's good. All right, so I'm going to set up a position kind of in here, and I'll be back. Okay, well, this is what I have set up. I'm not in love with it, but up here in this area, that just struck me as too much front to cover. Kind of one of my lessons learned from that last battle was that you need more reserves. You know, formerly, it seemed pretty clear to me that a brigade in good cover, you know, breastworks, parapets, what have you, would pretty much get the job done, right? Enemy would attack, that unit would defend pretty well, and might eventually break, but not before causing a lot of casualties on the incoming troops. And I don't know if that's going to be the case anymore. And so, I think I'm tending... I've used the double line a lot anyway, but I would also kind of stretch divisions out and have all three on the front line. Did that a lot as well, and you know, we kind of saw in the last battle, they can get a little dicey. So I've put all these divisions in double line so that there would be more reserve brigades. As a consequence, a given corps, at least, you know, kind of an 8 or 9 brigade corps can't really cover as much frontage as I have been used to in the past. It is quite possible that I may go up to like 12 brigade corps. I don't know. Too early to tell for that. But anyway, so with that in mind, this looked a little bit too strung out up here. And then there's this nice unfinished railroad that goes all the way across here, you know, anchored on the one end by the map edge, little gamey there, and on the other by Bull Run itself. And I can't quite cover all of it, but I think we can do a little bit better back here and keep our forces more concentrated than I would have been able to do up here. Not to mention all these darn fences, trying to maneuver units behind the line. I think that could have gotten real problematic. Now we've got some of that here too. There's some fencing in here, there's some woods here, but I don't think that's going to be as bad as trying to navigate through all this. And we do have a little road here kind of bypassing that they're going to tend to want to take. So this is what I've set up. I'd much prefer that it were a little bit more, you know, kind of bent, you know, sort of like this instead. So you get a little bit more converging fire. This is what we got. Okay, so McDowell's corps here and Patterson's over here. I think I would prefer that McDowell's corps kind of take a little bit more of the brunt of the attack, only because they're fresher, and we've got a few kind of sketchy brigades over here, but I think they're going to recover. So the position here, just right along this unfinished railroad, and notice that they do have a little bit better cover. Okay, these are all green quality cover, whereas in the last battle we were getting yellow. This is an unfinished railroad. In the last battle we had a complete railroad, and they have different cover values. I do not remember the numbers, nor do I remember the terminology for which one is better, but the visual here would seem to indicate that the unfinished railroad is better than the finished railroad, which seems backwards to me. But anyway, got green cover along in here, and I think what these guys have is about as good as breastworks. All right, and then we've got 3 full reserve brigades, including one. These guys in the red coats. I did take the Hall rifle projects, and Sherman's brigade is equipped with Hall rifles. That may become very significant. Okay. Got to be careful with committing them, because once they let loose with those Halls, they're going to burn through ammo a little bit faster. But they should be able to deal a lot of damage fairly quickly. With all the woods in here, finding good artillery positions was not great. However, I've got these parrots, given all the woods in front of them, these parrots actually have a surprisingly okay firing envelope in here. Hopefully that holds up. And then I've got some 12-pounder field guns right up here on the embankment, which is a little dicey, but apparently he can shoot all the way out to here. It's got to be said though, these are batteries, not battalions. They're pretty small. Even if we had a lot of clear artillery field of fire, I don't know how much they would really contribute at this stage of the war before we get the artillery reform project and can have bigger artillery units. Okay, Patterson's corps over here, it's basically the same idea. I used my engineering points and created some max level parapets here. Not only are they reinforced, but they've got the abattis and the obstructions in front. And my main idea there is this is the most open area in front of our position, and so I wanted this artillery to cover this. and I don't particularly want them vulnerable. So this is basically my arty position, and I've got one division over here kind of on the flank. And the idea is that these brigades in here, well, we're going to be putting out skirmishers all along the line, but kind of skirmishers in here. Skirmishers get cover in these abattis. Try to leave this area right in front of them open. I'm just trying to keep these two batteries protected and have them able to cover this area as long as they're able, without taking too much return fire. This is our most problematic and smallest division here, having taken heavy losses in the previous battle. And so these two brigades are kind of in reserve, sort of on the flank. They're both unstable at the moment, at 30%, but their fighting spirit is above 60%. So I think by the time contact is made, they will have recovered. They will at least be able to do something, but they're pretty small. And, even after they get morale higher, I don't know. I'd kind of prefer they not get too heavily engaged. And then this division's over here kind of just in case on the flank. So I feel like, if the main attack develops over here, we could maybe come out this way and wheel with McDowell's corps. Come at them like this. Or if they kind of come this way, which is somewhat what I want, I think we're going to have the ability to kind of extend the line down into here. Right? And then if they flank really wide, which I would not expect prior to 107, but we've seen them make some pretty wide movements. If they come all the way around here, or all the way around here, I think we can respond to that as well. This would be pretty extreme to come down this way and try to come at us from this direction. But frankly, that would be fantastic if they did that. I hope that happens. Because, there's not a lot of places to cross down here. And if they want to come over here and try to get at us over here at Sedley Church, fantastic. Come on down. I would welcome that. I know that they've tinkered with the AI, but I bet they haven't tinkered with it enough that they can cross a ford and get all balled up in here and not take enormous casualties getting fired upon. All right. Oh, and then we have our two little tiny cav units out here in front, and they're going to just kind of come out here, try to find where Johnny Reb is, which way he's coming, and hopefully get enough of a heads up so that if we need to kind of reapportion forces along in here, I can. Okay, I will be back. Okay, so rebel units have been spotted. Cav is sitting here and he's watching most of them come right down the Manassas Sedley Road as expected. There's already been some that have passed out of his vision and should be down here. This Cav unit, this is Runyon's division, but the brigade is George Custer. Got them kind of coming down here to see if we can get sight of what they're doing in this area. There are also some units sighted over here. I've got a skirmisher over here that was just keeping watch on this route, and there are some coming this way. In what strength? Not apparent yet. It may just be a division, but it's possible we may get some combat along this axis and this axis, which in turn means that this artillery position, even though it's frontally strong, it may get problematic. We do have some brigades down here to deal with that. I may take this division here and kind of put them on the railroad right in here. Not sure yet. In any case, that is what is going on, and it's dark now. It is after 2000, and sunset in August is 2100. So I don't think there's going to be any combat today, and we'll see how it looks in the morning. All right. Well, it is the morning of day 2, and I wasn't really trying to do this, but just the way that the cav units were out here, we got this kind of deployment zone, which limits where the CSA units are able to redeploy. So even if they may not move at all, they often don't, but even if they were to do so, they've got a pretty constricted area in here in which to do it. And so I've kind of just slightly reoriented. I've kind of moved McDowell's corps a little bit along this way, which means that Patterson had to extend out just a little bit. So anyway, that's about all that has happened. It is 7 o'clock in the morning, and I think we're going to start having some fighting here pretty soon. Let's get the clock rolling. And the deployment zone, the cav was out here. I moved them back. They did their job. They did their scouting. They're tiny. They've done about all they're going to do. I've just got them kind of back here behind the line because if there's cav nearby, there's a little bit of a morale buff. Yeah, see right here? Friendly cav close. That's about all we're going to get out of these cav now. These wavering units, I thought that once the battle started running that they would improve in morale. That's not happening. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 units that basically are probably going to break as soon as they get shot at, and they're all in Patterson's corps. Okay, they're still kind of speed time up, I think. Got skirmishers all through these woods in here. Skirmishers are starting to get engaged. I don't know why this guy doesn't have forest cover in here. Leading with his artillery in here. They're in the center, not off on a flank. Okay. Good job, Stern. Yeah, fire at the artillery. That's not looking good. Man, that cav just didn't give a damn. He's gonna get that artillery come hell or high water. Okay, ooh, broke him out. Golly. Artillery's a little worse for wear, but they didn't fully break. bring them back in here, and if they get shots, they get shots. If not, well. Some of our skirms are starting to get driven in. It's to be expected. Okay, 950 to 580. That's not a bad start. Skirms are getting driven in here. Developing over here on the right? No, not yet. That's probably good. Some of these forces may be able to flank in this direction. Slowly moving in our favor, 1100 to 600 now. Their morale is dropping faster than ours. They started above 70%. This guy's actually fine. Yeah. Turn that gunfire down a little bit. I mean, that was a pretty, you know, they're not attacking piecemeal, but they're not waiting to all get lined up perfectly either. And, you know, they kind of came right into range and immediately started putting pressure on us. These guys. Well, I think they're just moving in against these skirms. I don't know if they're trying to flank completely. Let's get... I don't want to move him so far over that he's committed, but let's move Porter over just a little bit. Like so, just in case. Go ahead and pull those skirms in. Somehow they're from this brigade way over here. not quite sure how I did that. Yeah, this casualty ratio is increasing in our favor. That's partially because a lot of the engagement is with skirmishers, which are just naturally going to have a little bit better casualty ratio. And also because, well, I'm not sure it's that significant yet, but this railroad embankment, I think, is giving us better cover than what we had in the railroad in the last battle. Some of their units are going to have some forest cover as they get closer to our line. These guys are going to do Jack Diddley over here. Let's just get these engaged there. I wonder if it's worth bringing this artillery out, putting them over here, oriented this way. Kind of feel like I might be exposing them. Skirmishes are in this area now. These Howard and Wilcox are, their main brigades are now engaged. Against cavalry though. Turned him too far. I don't know if he's actually taking fire from over here, though. $2,400 to about 700. This is going markedly better than the last battle. Hopefully this keeps up. Got a whole bunch of skirmishers working on this one cav unit over here. And that skirmisher just enough, maybe clear that, yeah, clear that flanking debuff. Rotating back into cover there. Burnside skirms low on hand. Oh, we got an attack coming over here on the front. Let's go ahead and pull Burnside skirmishers in. They're about to break. Or will soon because they're getting low on ammunition. Okay, yeah. Let's get quarter right up here. Just putting skirmishers out to screen him while he's moving onto the line. Well, they're probably just going to stop right there. I don't know. I don't think they're doing any good there. Whatever else, that cav isn't easy to break. Okay, let's just have a look here and see who is Keys doing good. Schenk doing good, even though he's having to flip-flop back and forth. No one's actually he keeps exposing his flank one way or the other, but no one's actually firing at him, so he's doing all right at the moment. Howard doing fine. Wilcox is doing fine. Burnside's doing fine. Okay, yeah. I don't see anyone that I'm thinking, oh, we need to relieve that guy on the line. And our casualty situation is 3,400 to about 900, which is, well, what does that work out to be? Almost right around 4 to 1. And I'm not terribly concerned about getting a lot of Patterson's guys engaged, since, you know, they kind of took a bit of a beating in the last battle. So if they can kind of rest through this one, I'm okay with that. All right. Check needs to orient this way, though. Just rotate. I'm not telling you to move. There we go. Actually, I am going to turn Schenk's initiative off so that he stops rotating back and forth. He stays right here in green cover, facing straight forward. Okay, Porter moving into position over here now. He's probably going to block that artillery fire, but I think that's okay. He's got a routed unit nearby. I think that was just a skirm unit recently. I don't think that's a big deal. Okay, that cab finally broke. Alright, skirmisher team. Come over here and keep this guy occupied. Yeah, this is going pretty well. This artillery's line of sight is blocked, though. The terrain kind of looks like if I'm moving back a little bit, that's not going to help. So, just leave them be. He's already getting any shots at all. Yeah? I don't know what they're shooting. Yeah, they're shooting up in here. Good. Could get dicey over here. I don't have any reserve brigade. It's going well, but depending upon what... Well, that's just a detachment there. Okay. Let's get Sherman just right behind. That's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. little toasty there. Let's move Franklin. About like so. Maybe needed over there. Wilcox and Howard seem to be doing fine in the center where they are. Stone kind of over like, yeah, let's just go ahead and put Stone in right there. Let's move Pierce over here, and we'll still have Woods cover. Once he's in place, we'll pull these skirmishers in. Going to pull Richardson back. He's taken enough casualties. It's below 1,000 men. Not that far from breaking for resilience. Getting some cohesion issues over here in the Confederate units. Could be caused by there's some fence in the area that could be doing that to them. They're getting close to retreat phase. Let's see if they actually retreat. What are we doing here? 7,000 to 2,000. They're at, yeah. Okay. They are kind of retreating. That's fine. Hey, we're starting to get some units with stars. Is anybody close to a perk already? I doubt it. No, no one's close to perk. I intend to go, well, Howard's pretty close to a perk. This guy came with Suave. I wouldn't have chosen that, but that was campaign start for that unit. I think in this campaign, like I started to do toward the end of the previous CSA campaign, I'm probably going to go Ace of Spades. It's kind of my standard infantry perk. One could make a very good case for Sharpshooter. Go on back to your brigades. Alright, off you go, Johnny Reb. I'm not going to try pursuing, primarily because cav units are tiny. They can still get in trouble, even against artillery battery. And, well, if we can move forward just enough to, let's see if we can shoot up some of this already. I don't want to go too nuts, though. I've already got the major victory. See if we can get that guy broken, maybe. Okay, that's one artillery battery. See if we can get this one. Okay, that's another one. Okay, that infantry unit broke. What is this? Oh, I inadvertently got him to capture Samardia, apparently. Okay. Okay, well, that went a little better than the battle over at Winchester. $8,000 to $2,000. It says here he lost quite a bit of cav. Yeah, I guess he did. And lost most of his guns. Only lost one gun. Yeah, during the scouting, inadvertently, one of the cav brigades did kind of get shot at, so we lost a few cav there. Obviously, by far, all the casualties will have been done by the Potomac Army, I'm sure. Oh, Patterson's guys still accounted for 1,000 of them. Potomac Army 6,200. The majority of which, well, pretty even really. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Division, 2,600, 1,900, 1,600. They were all fairly well engaged and did well. Somehow the Cav inflicted 68 casualties. I don't remember them shooting at anything. I guess when they got shot at, they shot back. Yeah, but now I saw these artillery firing. I checked them at least once, maybe twice, but apparently they did squat from where they were. It wasn't a great position where those two batteries were. Okay. And then let's take a quick look at casualties. 2nd Division, almost 900. 1st Division, almost 700. Heinzelman, famous. He's one of those division commanders. Either 1st or 2nd Division. 2nd, probably. Okay, we captured 4,300 infantry arms and 10 artillery. What are the chances any of that is actually good? I don't have all the numbers memorized. But let's see here. It's possible we got some 12-pound howitzers there. I don't know if I had that many. I may have. I think we captured a few Springfield rifle muskets. I didn't have that many before. I got enough there for probably another brigade over in the Army of Tennessee. Of the Tennessee. Grant's Army. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking we probably just got 6-pounder field guns. Nope. Possibly a few Napoleons. At any rate, I've got enough Napoleons for another battery. Okay. Okay, so we have... okay, this supply depot, they're burning it down. But the important one is this one. It's a tier 2. It'd be nice to hang on to this. Actually, we may have had control of that before. I don't remember. Right now it's showing 100% supply flow. That may change once time starts advancing. Which it is not going to do immediately, because I think that will do for this episode. If you like what we're doing with the channel, then leave a like, leave a comment, maybe even subscribe if that strikes your fancy. If you're new to the channel, new to the series, and want to have a look at other episodes in this series, I'm going to link a playlist here. At any rate, thank you very, very much for watching. I appreciate it.